Question, I recognize the member for Orleans.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Madam Speaker, Ontario should be leading North America in innovation, in talent and in opportunity. But under this Premier's watch, we've fallen embarrassingly behind. We are dead last in Canada for per-student university funding. Places like Quebec, California, Massachusetts are powering ahead, investing 3, 4, even 6% of their GDP into research and development. Ontario can't even crack 2%, Madam Speaker. We're getting lapped by global innovation leaders. And instead of investing in brain power, the Premier is stuck in traffic with yesterday's priorities. So, Madam Speaker, why is the Premier's government steering Ontario into the slow lane when we should be a full-speed race towards a smarter and stronger future?
I recognize the Minister of Colleges and Universities.
I'll remind the member opposite, under their government, it was the highest tuition in Canada. We will not put that on the backs of our students, Speaker. On top of the $5 billion we provide the sector every year, we've invested another $2 billion in the last 15 months, Speaker. We're making targeted investments into labour market needs, whether that's the $75 million to our colleges for construction seats, the $55 million for new teaching seats, with half of those being French teaching seats, Speaker, as well as the $10 million for the First Nations scholarship. Speaker, we're focusing on what the economy needs, and this summer we'll be starting a review of the funding model and will ensure that our post-secondary system is continuing to be world-class, as it always has been.
Back to the member from Orleans.
Well, that doesn't change the fact, Madam Speaker, that this province is behind Massachusetts, it's behind California, it's behind Washington in investing in research and development. Madam Speaker, the Premier talks a big game about jobs and growth, but the truth is you can't build a strong economy when you're cutting off the brain power at its source. Colleges and universities aren't asking for extravagances. They're asking for a little bit of oxygen. Instead, they're being told to do more with less, while our competitors invest in their future. We're now seeing the cost of that, Madam Speaker. Programs are being cut, fewer seats at universities, and fewer reasons for talent to stay in Ontario. So, Madam Speaker, to the Premier, how can we expect to lead in innovation when his government treats education like a line item to be cut instead of a launch pad to power our future?
Back to the Minister of Colleges and Universities.
Let me be very clear, Speaker. Funding for the post-secondary system is higher than it's ever been in Ontario's history. $2 billion, $1.3 billion last year was invested into the system to stabilize it because the federal Liberals unilaterally changed the international student market, Speaker, as well as on top of the $750 million we've now invested into STEM seats, graduating an extra 20,000 STEM graduates every year on top of the 70,000 graduates in STEM we're already providing the economy, Speaker. I've already mentioned the investments, but I'll mention it again to the member opposite. $75 million for construction seats, with 100 of those being planning seats for our municipalities, understanding there's a need for planning, on top of the $55 million for 2,600 new teaching seats, as well as the $10 million for First Nations grants for the North, Speaker. We're going to continue standing by the sector and meeting with the sector to ensure that our system will continue to be there for the students of Ontario.
Question.